Hare Krishna everyone. So today we are going to read 85, 86 and probably 87 episodes of 90 episodes. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So chapter 85, Lord Krishna instructs Vasudeva and retrieves Devaki's sons. Having heard the visiting sages glorify Krishna, Vasudeva ceased to regard him and Balarama as his son and began praising their omnipotence, omnipresence and omniscience as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After glorifying his sons, Vasudeva fell at Lord Krishna's lotus feet and begged him to drive away the conception that the Lord was his son. Instead, Lord Krishna restored that conception by instructing Vasudeva in the science of Godhead, and upon hearing these instructions, Vasudeva became peaceful and free of doubt. Then Mother Devaki praised Krishna and Balrama, reminding them how they had retrieved the dead son of their spiritual master. She said, "Please fulfill my desire in the same way. Please bring back my sons who were killed by Kansa so I may see them once again." And entreated in this way by their mother, the two lords went to the subterranean planet of Sutala, where they approached Bali Maharaj. King Bali greeted them respectfully, offering them seats of honor, worshipping them and reciting prayers. Krishna and Balram then requested Bali to return Devaki's dead sons. The lords received the boys from Bali and returned them to Devaki, who felt such a surge of affection for them that milk began spontaneously flowing from her breasts. Overjoyed, Devaki fed the children of her breast milk, and by drinking the remnants of milk once drunk by Lord Krishna himself, they regained their original forms as demigods and went back to heaven. Also, we have discussed this in past times in a separate video, where we understood that these six sons were actually the son of Marichi, and once Lord Brahma was they actually the sons of Marichi, they offended Lord Brahma, and then they were being cursed that you should be going to a demonic family. And then we listen that how the six sons again, but these six sons are again being given back to Mother Devaki by Lord Krishna and Balram. So chapter 86, Arjuna kidnaps Subhadra and Krishna blesses his devotees. This chapter describes how Arjuna kidnapped Subhadra and how Lord Krishna went to Mithila to bless his devotees Baulashva and Sutadeva. When King Parashit desired to learn about the marriage of his grandmother Subhadra Devi, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, while touring on pilgrimage, Arjuna heard that Lord Baladeva intended to give the hand of his sister Subhadra to Duryodhana in marriage. Wanting to kidnap Subhadra and marry her himself, Arjuna disguised himself as a renunciant and went to Dwarika. So effective was the disguise that neither Balrama nor any other residents of Dwarika recognized him. Rather, they all showed him respect due to Vaishnava mendicant. In this way, the 4 months of the rainy season passed. One day, Arjuna received an invitation to dine at Lord Balram's home. There he caught sight of Subhadra and was immediately overwhelmed with desire for her. Subhadra also desired to have Arjuna as her husband, and thus she glanced back at him shyly. A few days later, Subhadra left the palace to participate in a chariot festival. Taking this opportunity, Arjuna abducted Subhadra and defeated the Yadavas who tried to stop him. Lord Balrama was at first greatly angry to hear of this, But when Lord Sri Krishna and other family members pacified him, he became joyful and sent the bride and groom of the with elaborate wedding gifts. There was a Brahmana devotee of Sri Krishna named Sutadeva who lived in the city of Mithila. By the will of Providence, he could earn only barely enough to keep himself and his family alive. Still, he was always satisfied and spent all his time executing his religious duties. King Bahulashva was another great devotee of the Lord residing in Mithila, a member of the dynasty in which King Janaka had appeared. Bahulashva ruled over the whole province of Videha, yet he remained as detached from material wealth as Shrutadeva. Pleased with the devotional attitude of both these great souls, Lord Krishna went on his chariot to Mithila to visit them. Taking along Narada and several other learned sages, the people of Mithila greeted the Lord and his saintly entourage with great delight. Bearing various gifts for Krishna, they bowed down and offered obeisances to both him and the sages. Bahulashva and Sutadeva both stepped forward and respectfully requested Sri Krishna to visit their homes. To satisfy both of them, the Lord expanded himself and went to each of their homes simultaneously. They each worshipped him suitably, offered prayers, washed his feet, and then sprinkled themselves in all their family members with the wash water. Lord Krishna then praised the sages who were with him and glorified Brahmanas in general. He also imparted instructions to his host concerning devotional service. Understanding these instructions, both Shrutadeva and Bahulashva honored the sages and Lord Sri Krishna with single-minded devotion. Lord Krishna then returned to Dwarika. So this is the way we see how Lord Krishna blesses these two, his devotees, and Arjuna kidnaps Subhadra. So chapter 87, that's the prayer of the personified Vedas. So this chapter presents the prayer by the personified Vedas glorifying the personal and impersonal aspects of Lord Narayana. King Parikshit asked Srila Sukadeva Goswami how the Vedas can directly refer to the supreme absolute truth, Brahman. Since the Vedas deal with the material realm governed by the three modes of nature and the Brahman is completely transcendental to these modes, the Brahman is completely transcendental to these modes. In reply, Sukadeva Goswami described an ancient encounter between Sri Narayana Rishi and Narada Muni at Badrika Ashram. Traveling to that sacred hermitage, Narada found the Lord surrounded by exalted residents of the nearby village of Kalapa. After bowing down to Narayana Rishi and his associates, Narada submitted his questions to him. In reply, Narayana Rishi related an account of how this very question had been discussed long ago among the great sages living on Janakaloka or Janaloka. Once these sages, feeling inquisitive about the nature of the absolute truth, chose Sanandana Kumara to speak on the subject, and Sanandana told them how the numerous personified Vedas appearing as the first emanation from the breathing of Lord Narayana recited prayers to his glorification just before the creation. Sanandana then proceeded to recite these elaborate prayers. The residents of Janaloka were perfectly satisfied upon hearing Sanandana recite the prayers of the personified Vedas, which enlightened them about the true nature of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and they honored Sanandana with their worship. Narada Muni was equally satisfied to hear this account from Sri Narayana Rishi. Thus, Narada offered his obeisances to the Lord and then went to see his disciple Vyasadeva, to whom he explained everything he had heard. So that is how we see the prayers of the personified Vedas. And this is where we end 87, and we have just left with 3 more, 88, 89 and 90. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And stay tuned. Karuna Bhavan is going to be live on 12th of August, just day before today, day after tomorrow, where we will be having lots of Kirtan and Bhajan in Facebook and YouTube as well. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.